I think the biggest mistake from when people are doing their cash flow budgeting and preparing themselves, particularly when things are tight, is really underestimating the time to get income to come in. Timing, you can budget for grain sales, and everybody thinks that, yep, we'll be able to get that in April, but the reality is you've got to be able to really forward think to get an April payment. I've got to have it delivered 4 weeks beforehand, and I actually have to have that negotiated 2 weeks before that. And cash flow can come undone so quick if you don't actually have the timing right of when it comes in, because your costs are, the timing of your costs are fixed. And if you miss an income by 2 or 3 weeks, can make a massive difference to a cash flow. So not being overly optimistic about your ability to be able to shift grain and get the income into your cash flow is really important. Be really realistic about it, because it can come yourself unstuck really quickly.
One of the other key ones I feel is, and naturally off the back of a tougher season too, clients are a bit wary around asking for too much. They potentially try to go with the bare minimum. Potentially all that does is create that double up of, a need later in the year when they actually needed the extra 100 or 200 grand more, but they didn't want to ask for it because they didn't want to, ask for too much. And I think really identifying that peak need, making sure your facilities are set up to work for the business, as you touched on, Greg, around that sort of ability to have flexibility within your cash flow, even though a cash flow is designed as a guide and understanding of when we think we'll sell, still making sure those banking facilities are tailored to give you that ability to be flexible with the markets, with delivery, and give that buffer, I guess, in the business, so you can, again, come back and focus some more on the things that have to be done.
Well, I think with the flexibility piece too, we've seen before, a budget gets out of date very quickly. It's about working with the budget and reviewing it regularly, because as timing changes and you miss payments or markets change, you need to be adjusting and looking at that budget as often as you can, not just doing it once off for the bank and not looking at it again. So what we've been doing with the live budget, with the cash peak's really good for that, because it's a live budget you can share, everyone can see it and change it however they see fit, but we're tracking your actuals along the way as well. So it's becoming a live tool, I think, that brings a budget to life instead of being this stagnant thing that you do once a year and put in the drawer and don't look at it again. Yeah.
I think a key too with it as well is just that review of it. We understand, budgets aren't for everyone. Some people love them, some people hate them, but they really different to your tractor or your spray. They're a tool to help you understand and make an informed decision in the business. And I guess reviewing how that's tracking across the season is important as well. Making sure that at least, once or twice in the year, again, depending on the strength of the cash flow and liquidity of the business, but really just having that check-in halfway through the year, even though, hence why, we do that mid-year update with and cash flow review with clients, is designed and centered around and making sure we're accountable to what we thought the business was going to spend, what we thought the business was going to generate from income and post-old season grain sales, livestock and those sorts of things, to really, I guess, keep that level of accountability as well really strong within the business.
And don't underestimate that something will always go wrong. Room in your cash flow, because there will be something that'll go wrong. You need a major breakdown with a piece of machinery or something that happens and you need to find a bit more money. And if you've really got your budget really that tight that you haven't got a allowance for those type of things that you weren't expecting, then it'll hit you later on. So having a buffer in there for the unforeseen things is really important as well.